Yo, all right. Change this title of this live stream real quick. I wonder if it'll update in real time. I forgot to change the title. We're going to talk about something really crazy, which is Randall Smith out from Mesa Boogie. What? Then let's name it like that. Yeah. So pretty crazy stuff going on. I don't know the ins and outs of it. Save that right there. Do we have good audio, Greg? Is the audio coming in good and the picture coming in good on this little live stream action? You let me know. Yeah, kind of coming in tasty. Got a little more halo on there. Cool. All right, let's play a song before we get started here. Let's just play one. Have a good time with it. Title track off the new album. Still getting under my fingers. Let's try it. Cool. All right. Little shred there for you. Kind of fun action right there. Let's talk about some things. I'm playing through the Mesa Boogie Lone Star, one of the all-time amps here. Those tasty cleans. Really good stuff. It's just an all-time champion of an amplifier. Let's get into the goodies here. I've kind of got a mess. I've been programming my FM3. It's sitting below me, or FM9 rather. Setting up guitars, doing some stuff here. Guys, Randall Smith is out from Boogie. There have been rumblings here for a bit. I know the forums are ablaze. YouTube is on fire. The guitar community is like, oh man, did he get fired? Did he retire? You got some folks saying things like he sold to Boogie with the intent to retire. You got other folks saying he was ousted. You know, it doesn't, as The Rock would say, as the people's champion would say, it doesn't matter what you think happened. What matters is Randall Smith is no longer a Mesa Boogie. And that, to me, is cause to cock the people's eyebrow up in the air and be like, yo, what is going on over there? You know, those of you that know me know that I like Gibson. I think that the ultimate mandolin is the Lloyd Loar Gibson F5. That's the one, right? Golden era. I think everybody even makes mandolins that are copies of that. Cannot argue the greatness that is the Les Paul, the Firebird, the SG. I mean, it's a legacy brand. It's an evergreen brand. But I think in that same sentence, in that same breath, you could put Mesa Boogie. Amplifiers like the dual rectifier. Amplifiers like the Mark IV, the Mark II C+, the Lone Star, the JP series amps. Like, this is a legacy brand. And king of the brand is Randall Smith. That's your Stan Lee. You know, that's your Carroll Shelby, right? Like, that's your guy. So what happens when your guy leaves the company? I thought this would be a great discussion today. We've got a cast of characters in here. Dustin's in here. Jim, Jeff, Randy, Chris Clarkson from SIR's in the house. Mark Kirby, good to see everybody. Jeff Prell's in the house. Greg Marmon's in the house. Yeah, you know, Greg is chiming in with what I think is the common response. We're going to let Greg kick the football off. He's saying he's surprised that it took this long considering Gibson corporate culture. You know, boy, that's the common answer. I don't work at Gibson. I'm not a Gibson artist. I have friends that are Gibson artists. I have friends that work at Gibson. I don't have any kind of insight on what that means. However, I do see that a lot of people on Twitter Yeah, I still call it Twitter, X. Facebook, various guitar outlets are all saying the same thing, like it's some kind of result of corporate evil. There's a high possibility that Randall wanted to retire. There really is. But I don't think, I just can't see it publicly being released this way if he left willingly. Now, we don't know how corporate exit strategies and payouts happen. He could have NDAs and, this kind of stuff. We don't know that. And I'm not here to assume and throw those kind of stones, all that kind of stuff. I'm not here to say Big Gibson is bad. Corporate Gibson is bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am saying is, like, boy, it does smell fishy that it's just like it's business as usual. And then there's YouTube videos everywhere saying Randall Smith is fired. Randall's the GOAT. He's one of the OG amp builders. Like, that's a name that goes along with Mike Soldano, Leo Fender. I think you put those in the same echelon, right? Like, that's the same kind of deal. Randall has got an ear for tone. Now, boy, it's going to be an interesting day. It really is going to be an interesting conversation today. I see Jeff's chiming in with making amps and making guitars are two different things. About 2 years after the acquisition, which is typical in most acquisitions. Yeah, Jeff's making some level-headed statements here. I don't know how you protect the product without Randall Smith. You got, what's his name? It's not Andy West. That's got Andy West plays for the Dregs. Is it Andy West? Is it Andy West? No. One of the main engineers. I feel like it is, but I also feel like Andy West plays for the Dixie Dregs, and I feel like that's not the same guy. My brain is Doug. Thanks, Dustin. It's Doug West. Yeah, Andy West plays for the Dregs. Doug West works for Boogie. Thank you, guys. Yeah, sorry. I got mashed potatoes up here today. You had a magical team with Randy and Doug, and I just want to talk about some of my favorite Boogie products that I personally have owned that are from that era. My first professional amplifier was a Boogie Subway Rocket, a little tube amp, and it did good things. Sounded real nice, the Subway Rocket. Then I went to the Mesa Boogie Mark IV. It sounded really good. That was a great sounding clean amp with a great lead channel, and it could do a lot of things. It had so many switches though. My only problem was that, like, if you got one of those switches just out of whack, you're chasing your tone around could prove to be difficult. But man, that sounded great. Now the Lone Star, and I'll give you my settings right now. They're pretty much the Timmons kind of settings. Clean channel, gain is at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Trebles at noon, mids is at 1 o'clock, bass is at like 9 o'clock because it's got so much low end. And then presence is at like 11 o'clock. And then the master's up loud, like noon. They're just rocking. Obviously, I'm not hearing it out of those Boogie cabs that loud. It's going through my rig here into the computer. And I have to say, these Boogie 212 cabs are some of my favorite cabinets on the planet. These Boogie 212s are rippers. They just always sound so good. I personally like them better than the 412s. I know that sounds crazy, but I do. We're talking about John Petrucci and these legacy artists, freaking Timmons, man, Carlos Santana, Metallica. These are the in the video game world, you would say these are IP defining. You know what I mean? How do you move forward? I have to be honest. I'm going to take the boxing gloves off right now. This might sting if you work for Gibson or Boogie. What I'm about to say might have some sting on it. The last time I was backlined an amplifier, it was the Fillmore series of amplifiers. I was massively disappointed. incredibly disappointed. I couldn't even believe that it came from the same house that the Lone Star came from. So if you are a Gibson person and you're seeing this, I hope you take my words as constructive criticism and not me attacking the brand, because that's not, I don't know how to build guitars. I don't know how to build an amp. Any amp's better than anything I can build because I can't do it. But I can play them, and I know what sounds good to me. And that Fillmore line was a massive disappointment. I don't know why the Lone Star was discontinued. I'll tell you another great one was the, I think they called it Stiletto. It was like a Marshall kind of thing. And it was a ripper. It was a total ripper. I haven't had a chance to spend any time on the Triple Crowns, so I have no opinion on that. The Dual Rec it's a genre-defying amplifier. I mean, a Dual Rec and a PRS, that's like the sound, right? I know Ben Eller loves to have a Dual Rec with a boost in front of it. That's like his favorite, like brutal kind of metal thing. So I don't know. My Boogie is over here, and it's racked. The Lone Star combos were so dadgum heavy, you couldn't carry them. So I had old Johnny Boy, John Cooper, got me a rack unit for that thing and loaded it up. Now it's easy to get around. I can tote it, which matters. So I'm interested to see what you guys think. Are you guys Boogie aficionados? Like, is that your drug? Do you love the Boogie? I do. I mean, I think it takes pedals so well, you know? I mean, that's a tone right there. really rocking. It's a great sounding rig. I'm really worried about the longevity of Boogie without Randy. I don't know. And without Doug too, you know. Okay, so Nicholas is saying, looking forward to hanging at Guitar Summit in Germany. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be really, really good. Brad Hafner is saying, I don't like the fact that they stopped making the Lone Star. Keeley put out a Facebook question recently about what we would like to see in an amp. It's very interesting, right? Yeah, I know where that question's coming from, Brad. I'm just not at liberty to say. But what is the future of the company without Randy? I don't know. I would love to know what folks are saying within the company. You know, like here's the other thing that's kind of a mystery to me. You have you kind of only got John Petrucci left on your artist roster. I don't mean that literally, but as a signature guy, he's kind of like your last big dude, right? Like Timmons plays Lone Stars, but that's not a product you make anymore. So I don't really consider him a Boogie artist, right? Jeff is chiming in with thoughts on that Fillmore. He's saying it sounds sterile. Yeah, I would say it also felt really underpowered. It didn't feel like it had the oomph. Like, it just didn't feel powerful. You know, Lone Star is a monster. That thing's 100 watts. Knock your face off. And it sounds great in a band mix, too. Matt Warren. New album is amazing. Thank you, Matt. We'll play another tune off of that record. Maybe we'll get the old Strat out. Let's play one with the Strat. Let me know what you think about this Boogie situation. Oh, this strings on the Strat are pretty shot, so we might have tuning discrepancies. At no fault of Sir, but at fault of me for not changing the strings. Oh, they're not bad. They're not bad. They're doable. Okay. This. Let's see what we got. This is from my friend Matt. That's giving some love on the new record. Let's play Believe. sounds good. Yeah, cool. Let's chime back in on the chat here. See how everybody's doing with the Randy Smith Boogie situation. Chuck saying best Tony ever heard was a Boogie set up clean as a pedal platform. Yeah, it's hard to beat, man. Sounds good. Brad's saying the Halo does the heavy lifting in the studio. It sure does. And, I'm always kind of like wondering if it's how much is too much with Halo. It's like, here's the dry. So you can barely hear it off in the distance. Just a little bit. So like if I go in, let me show you what I like to do is to set my, I'll hold the feedback, right? Now it's an expression, so I'll turn the heel down to where I want it. And that's usually around here. Baby amount. So it feels dry, okay? And then I'll put toe down and turn that up, crank that baby. Maybe. That sounds nice to me. So I might save that one. Save that. And so I think you just tap the feedback to save it, right? Tap that, yeah, and then hold it to the position you want. Yeah. So now those settings are in there, yeah. Earlier. All around that sus is nice. I'm used to playing 24 fretters. I haven't played 22s in a long time. I play them on sessions, but I rarely play them live. Jangly. Yeah, sounds really good. I like that tone a lot. Again, it's just like pedal platform thing with the Boogie is really nice. Nicholas is saying, how many guitars do you own? What's your most untypical guitar in your collection? Great question. I just did inventory. I have 26 electric guitars. And the weirdest one is this, I'll show it to you. It is this thing right here, this metal guitar. I'll plug in, take a listen at it. This is by far the most odd guitar I own. This was given to me by Travis Toy, and it's got a neat sound. It doesn't sound like anything. Obviously, the Bigsby makes it have a vibe that's kind of its own thing too, right? I'll probably have to tune it for an hour. It needs a set of strings on it too. That's not too bad. Kind of its own thing. Sounds cool. Yeah. Pickup selector being behind it though. I'm used to reaching down here for it. It's kind of nice though. What's that lick? That's it. It's a weird sound, isn't it? It's just kind of it's really gainy. Like the pickups are super hot too. So this is the weirdest one. I'll hold it up to the camera so you guys can check it out. Look at that thing. It's kind of wild looking. Yeah, it's all aluminum. It's heavy. It's a freaking boat anchor, man. So yeah, that's what that's all about. Somebody said, is Believe, the song Believe, inspired by Andy Timmons? Because it has a Resolution kind of vibe. I'm assuming you mean that record, right? Actually, no, but I do love Andy's playing, so I'm sure that, right, you know, possibly. But it's directly inspired by Mark Knopfler. That's the guy I had in mind when I was writing it. And it was kind of inspired by the Moving Pictures Brothers in Arms kind of era, those ballads, like the ballad he did for the Princess Bride, like all of that stuff. It's kind of in that realm is what I was listening to and kind of vibing. I think it's moving pictures. Let me just verify that on the old Spotify machine here. Spotify, the great evil of the world. Yeah, it's moving pictures, right? Let's double check it. It's Romeo and Juliet. Is it moving pictures? No. It's on that record, right? Let's see. Moving Pictures is the Rush record. I'm making movies. I had my movies crossed. Moving Pictures was a Rush record. Making Movies is the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Like everything's like getting crossed in my brain today. I'm fried. But yeah, it's from the Making Movies era of Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits, kind of in that. SV says he got banned from the gear page again. That's great. Jonathan says, Andy, loved the record. May I ask, do you have a tone idea in your head for a track, or do you land on tones while playing? Definitely tones inspire the writing for me. Like if I start playing on that silver guitar, you could tell it kind of got a little more kind of rockabilly-ish and blues. And then the Strat was more sexy stuff, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. It definitely the tones inspire the riffs for me. Like if I dial up a nice flanger or something, it may inspire something. Sean Murphy's in the house. I still have not picked one up either. A lot of people saying they haven't picked up a Halo. Y'all need to get the Halo. What are we talking about? I got a bunch of people in this room that don't own it. That's crazy. I own 3. Love them. Sean says, I've just been holding out for a Strymon, but Halo is definitely up there with them. Still don't have a delay. I got to say this. The Strymon stuff is fantastic. The UA stuff is fantastic. I like the Halo because it's easy to use. The other ones require a little bit more deep editing and click, 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 turn, 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 click, 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 a little bit of that, you know. Dustin says either his signature Wampler gearbox or maybe the Keeley Andy Timmons drive. Anyone know which pedal? A lot of gearbox, right? Definitely Woodshed compressor on the lower gain stuff. Yeah. Sean Murphy says, my shredder buddy just got the Woodshed tele pickups. He's stoked. Those are kind of vintage. So they're like a vintage kind of output. I love them, but it's a lower output. We're working on something that's a flamethrower, kind of a stacked humbucker kind of idea. So just stay tuned for something fun in that lane. Nothing official yet. I'm just talking. The Bigsby, holy moly. Yeah, charisma. It is cool. Jeff says, I got to jump. Look forward to seeing the whole family at Woodshed this year. Yeah, let's just talk about Woodshed real quick. Use code, I think it's Sweet 200. I think Chuck can verify that. Is that Sweet 200 for the code to get a nice little discount? Thanks to the folks at Sweetwater. They're giving you $200 off of the Woodshed this year. So I think that's Sweet 200. Chuck's going to be able to verify that when he chimes in the chat here. It's going to be a blast. We got a great group of players. I'm really excited to play a lot of mandolin with Jake. Jake's going to be playing some guitar. We're going to play a lot of old fiddle tunes and some good stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Sweetwater, $200 off registration for the Woodshed. It's 16 days from today, folk. It's going to be good. 16 days, and we'll be rocking out there just an hour outside of Nashville, September 5th through 8th. Crossville, we got Andy Timmons, we got Steve Morris, we got Jake Workman, we got Ariel Posen, Brent Mason, Tom Quayle's coming over. It's going to be an absolute delight. A delight, folks. So yeah, that's the plug for Woodshed. Come hang out with us 4 days. Use code SWEET200 to get $200 off. Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. Now let's get back in there with this chat. Brian's asking about the metal guitar. Is it a P90 in the neck? Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. Wayne says, will you walk us through the signal chain for the Believe texture? Yeah, I sure will. And we'll use it, with the old Lone Star. If I'm not mistaken, I think I used the Fender Deluxe on the record, but we'll use it with the Lone Star right now because that's what's plugged in and sounding good. First off is just a basic tone. This is without the compressor. This is no pedals. It's just the amp. Now bringing in the Woodshed compressor. If there is a secret weapon that I have, it's the Woodshed comp. Now we're going to bring in just a little graphic EQ to hit the front with a little more sparkle up top. I'm going to hit that E string real quick. A little flat on the G2. Oh, if you don't play them, they don't like it. They got to be played, folks. Let's go back to that first tone. Yeah. So now we're going to bring in the halo. So that's just Woodshed comp and a little bit of EQ. Now we're going to bring in the halo. Okay, so that's like what I use for the cleans. And then the next, which is a setting I call More. It's just the AT mod and the Woodshed compressor. And then when I go to this part of the song, that's the Pantheon. And the biggest tone is just the gearbox and the halo. That's it. As those arpeggios I posted to Instagram. I haven't got them down yet. I could get lost in that tone. It just sounds so good to me. It's just the freaking gearbox and the halo just doing what they do. Kemper's cool. I'm gonna sit down with don't let me say it like I hate it. That's not the way I mean it. I'm gonna sit down with Michael Britt, make some patches, and we're gonna put those on the website. So I personally haven't had great luck working with Kemper, but everything that I hear Michael Britt does sounds great. Mike's a friend of mine. I'm going to get in touch with him. We're going to film some stuff with him, and it's going to be fun. He's a tonesmith. He's a real tonesman. So I intend on having a new patch of FM9 patches, some updated XFX 3. We may just call these like AW Volume 2 tones. And we're going to upload these hopefully soon. We've got a lot of stuff coming. And I intend on getting a Quad Cortex and a Line 6 Helix and just kind of making patches for all of it. Dustin says, Mesas are fascinating. Think it's amazing and clean, must be scoop mids, and it's boosted. Gnarly dirty tone must be mid heavy and it's scoop. Yeah, it's weird, right? Right? That's it. I'm not the biggest fan of the Kemper, but I know Mike Britt can get some wicked tones out of it. So anything he does is going to be good. Hey, Lucas, hope you're good, my friend. Hope everything's going really well. Brad is saying this. Brad's getting us back on topic. Gibson is saying that they are happy with the Randall's DNA and the Boogie's amps will always be inspiring. That sounds like the way Disney handled Tiana's Bayou Adventure, replacing Splash Mountain. The DNA's there, and it's, it's not well received. So I don't know. I don't know. It's too early to reserve. And I got to say this, Randall was there when they did the Fillmore, and I think that amp kind of sucks. So it is weird to have things that are just marquee masterpiece amps. Lone Star, Mark Series, rectifiers, dual Rex or rippers. To have these marquee amps and then release something less than inspiring with the Fillmore. That was a bummer. I was really looking forward to that. Stiletto didn't make the cut. They canned that thing too. So, I'm going to quote my man Chuck. Chuck says, people tell you what they like, but then they pay and they pay separately. So they'll say they don't like something all day long, and then they'll go buy it. Or they'll say something's awesome and they won't buy it. I think that's the case of the Stiletto. A lot of people said they thought it was awesome and they didn't buy it. So from a corporate standpoint of making money, you gotta get rid of that amp if nobody buys it. Now, the Lone Star is one of the most purchased boogies, I would have to imagine, because it's in every backline. It's what I ask for when I'm going on a fly date and I don't know what amps will be available. I always ask for Lone Stars because they always are rippers. They always sound good. Chuck says, asking a dealer about a green guitar that everybody asks for them, but nobody buys them. Yeah. My knees hurt is in the house. He says, do we know if there wasn't a piece of paper sign saying Randall would exit after this is all what I brought up at the beginning. This is a great point. Yeah, it could have totally been the plan all along. Randall could have just been like, I'm going to leave in 3 years, and that could be it. We don't know. I'm not here to throw accusations. I'm here to be the curator of our little community that we have. Hey, Greg Goldberg in the house. Love to AMS. If you guys need gear, make sure to go visit our friends at AMS as well. Those are just sweethearts of individuals. Greg, we're talking about Randall Smith leaving Boogie. So it's a hot button topic right now, and that's the thing I think that this channel has evolved into, which is a bit of like this week in the music industry and the guitar community especially. That's what we like to talk about here, and this is the hot button item. It'll be interesting to see what products come out post Randy. Will they be old Randy designs? Old Doug Randy collaborations? I mean, that's the thing, Brad. It's not a matter of if he should have left. It's not a matter of if he should have retired. It's a matter of did he get la boot? Did he get shuffled on out the door? I hope it's a good situation and he got a big, fat, golden parachute because he deserves it. He's a legend. You're right, Brad. It's like he doesn't need to work forever. That's right, man. Yeah. I'm curious as what the next product line will be. You're gonna have the Mark series. You're gonna have Rectos. They're fools to cancel those. Yeah. Agreed with Chuck. Let him retire. It's not a matter of, again, I think it's more the matter of was it good? Did he get taken care of on his way out the door? You know. That's the kind of questions I think I would like to know the answer to. And from a consumer side, I would like to know what they're going to do with the brand moving forward. Like, what's that look like? What are you going to make? You don't make the amp that I'm playing through. We're sitting here having a good time with it. It's a good sounding amp. You know, obviously, my man JP, the Trooch, king of shred. Trooch has got his thing with Boogie. Trooch can dream it up and they'll make it. So he'll always have an ear for tone and be good with it. So, you know, it'd be, I think Greg's on something too. Maybe he wanted to do his own thing. Maybe he just wants to go fishing. Like, we don't know the answers to that. But what is the company going to do without him? Who's going to fill those shoes? Like any other aspect of our industry, you have to re-sow the fields. I think this is huge. Stratman, thank you for the 5-banger. I appreciate the beer money, my friend. Always need people to clean boards. Always. My boards are filthy. They're filthy. They get used. These are tools that I use. I go tour them. Mikey's doing good. Yeah, Mike's doing good. That's another great example. Soldano. It's like they've done good with the Soldano brand. They make the thing. They're doing it respectfully. I have hope. I just want to know what's gonna move forward. Is the brand gonna be handled as a legacy brand, and we're gonna make Mark Series amps and the Rectos, and then maybe one or two oddballs. And I'm cool with that. As long as we can just get some good amps, that's cool. But if we're going to reach out into new product, SV is asking me, SV up here is saying, what do I not like about the Fillmore? Me personally, I felt the Fillmore was extremely underpowered. You know, the thing tells me it's 100 watts, but it ain't like that. It ain't 100 watts like that. And it tells me it's, 100 watts, but my Bella, that's a 50 watt amp, is like rolling with it. You know, it's like, it tells me it's 100 watts, but that Mark IV smokes it. And I'm not a volume hog. I don't think it's that. It's oomph. It's headroom. It's like, how loud can it be and be clean? It's like, that's where I felt like the Fillmore was, it just left me down. It didn't have depth. And I don't mean low end. I mean just like note depth. Like this sounds, that's just got a body to it. Right there on those fifths. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's got a hearty goodness to it. I mean, doesn't that sound nice with no delay or anything? It just sounds like good. I mean, all the goodies that I want in a tone are fundamentally there. And it's not so much that I can tell you what they are, but I can tell you when I play an amp and it doesn't have it. And it just comes up short. And I think that's where I fell with the Fillmore. It's just, I played the biggest one they had, and I was like, yo, this is not got it. I sound like I'm hating this one specific amp. I think it's my job to be honest with you guys. I don't get paid. I'm one of the few YouTube guitar guys that I don't do the pay me to review your product thing. I've had my plenty of fair share of offers, and it honors me. Every time somebody sends me something or sends me a message, they want to send me a product and they want to pay me to review it. I can't in good conscience do that because I would lose credibility for me personally. I'm not saying other people lose credibility. I think Corey Cagilio, Pete Thorne, and these guys that make a living on, that make a good little amount of dough from reviewing gear. I'm not acknowledging them. Those guys are badasses. I just know if somebody gave me money, if somebody gave me money and said, hey, put out a review, I would feel bad if I said it sucked. Like, you paid me to review this thing. It's like, I can't really be like, this is awful. I'm too nice. I can't do that. So I like to maintain a healthy distance from companies when it comes to gear review stuff. And it allows me to be really honest, and it allows me to say the things that I believe without scrutinization, because I keep everybody equal. Yes, I get paid from Sir on royalties from, that's obvious. You have a signature model guitar. Same with the gearbox. I mean, obviously you're going to have a signature model, something. There's going to be a revenue share on that. I don't want to stand up here and act like I'm a holier than thou martyr saying I don't get paid. It's like, but the difference is I didn't develop those products and I didn't go to those companies paid first. I'd always played a bunch of Wampler pedals, and I played Sir guitars. And as my career grew and I had more notoriety, I still played the things that I wanted to play. And that's where those relationships come in, and they're nice and organic. And I mean, John Sir and Kevin they're the family to me. Like Chris Clarkson, these guys, Don Bon Jovi over there. Justin. These are guys. They're Seiki. All the cats over at Sir, they're family. They build guitars that are great, and I can go on stage and do my thing, and I don't feel like it's a compromise, right? I like to have that kind of honesty on this channel, because if I say this Lone Star is really good, it's sitting here and I bought it. It's really good. But I think that also comes with, you're going to hear some bad things about products. You guys are going to know that I'm not the first one that's going to be fired up to play through a Kemper, or, and that is why I'm tackling the project. Can I get those tones to be where I like it? I can't personally, but I know Michael Britt gets the best Kemper tones I've ever heard, so I reached out to him. You see how I'm trying to handle it? I want to be honest, dare I say honest. Nicholas is saying, can you show high gain stuff? Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't really a gainy setup. I don't use the most gain in the world, but this is all pedals. The amp is clean. This is my crunch tone. And these are super low output pickups. Really, really low. These are V60s. The most gainy pedal is the Andy Timmons pedal that I've got gained up. That's like the most high gain that I have going on. And that's with a Strat. So it's kind of like not gainy like it would be with the Les Paul or the PRS or something that's got, oomph. Or those moderns. Man, I got some of those modern EVH guitars. They're rippers, and they've got a lot of gain. So that's kind of that thing. But yeah, if I was going to go for high gain, I would jump into that Diesel if I was going to do some metal stuff, Nicholas. So that's a different kind of thing for sure. Something that is bad for one person may not be bad for another person. I think we forget that about product reviews sometimes. That's absolutely right. That's a great point. Like, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So many guys have, look at tellies and they don't want no part of them, for the kind of music that I make. But I like a telly. I think it's cool. So, and some guys may be like, fractals are the only way to go. And other guys be like, amps are the only way to go. And it's like, whatever works, man, whatever gets the job done for you. And I think that's why I always try to just put a nice razor sharp edge on my opinion, which is like, this is my opinion. This is, you may love it and it may be great for you, but it's just the stuff that I like. Visacha Trucci says the headroom of the Mesa Road King was what sold me on it when I first played. I loved the Road King. It had a lot of parts, but it was a great sounding amp. I really liked the Road King era of Dream Theater and John Petrucci. Those rhythm tones of the Road King were just awesome to me. Like, that's some of my favorite. That might be my favorite John Petrucci tones is from that era. I really loved the Train of Thought. I loved that G3 and Glasgow Kiss and all that stuff. Just so good. So good. So yeah, but again, a lot of other everybody else be like, images and words or whatever. That's a great thing about music. We can all like what we like. We don't all have to date the same girl. I like that. So Nigel says, I think having you, Landau, Scott Henderson as endorsees is pretty much as perfect a mic drop as any company could want. Well, thanks, Nigel. I appreciate that. It's definitely not lost on me that I'm surrounded by giants in that company. Landau and Henderson both are giants. And anytime I want to feel humbled or small, I just go out there and hang out and see them, watch them play. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. That suck. But they're great. They're great players and great musicians, and they make great music. And Landau he is one of my Arthurian Round Table all-time favorite players in the history of the world. Landau is he's so good. He's so good. If there's ever anyone that is in the lane of Jeff Beck, I think it's Landau, in my opinion. Like, Landau just makes everything sound like music. And I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say because every musician should make everything sound like music. But when he plays it, things don't sound like an example. It sounds like sounds like music, he's just got it, man. Ian Thornley, the new blood over there, in the past 8 or 9 years, you've got Mateus Asado and Andre Nieri. These are monsters. James Evanier for the metal prog stuff is really great. I mean, geez, there's a lot of horsepower in that stable. There really is a lot of horsepower over there. I would like to do a Sir show. It was just all of us. Just Pete. Pete doing that thing that he does is so good. There's not very many pure rock guys like Pete. Pete's such a perfection. It's just a great player, man. I think a lot of people actually sleep on Pete Thorne's raw ability. I think he's got the optic of hired gun guy, but he's a nasty player. I think Pete himself sleeps on how good he is. I've heard him just, aw shucks, no, not me, a million times. And I'm just like, bro, you can say whatever you want, but when you play the guitar, it's lethal. Reb Beach, Lucas, I have Red Beach and I hung out. Actually, is it at In Stuff? We hung out at this store, I think. Was this the one? And yeah. So when I was up there and did the clinic at this store, I got to hang out. Red Beach came out to the show and was super kind and just beyond kind. Like just really gracious. He stayed for, till they kicked us out, and me and Rev just hung out for hours. It was really great. Corey Taylor, this is a kind of a out of nowhere comment, but I'm going to acknowledge it. Corey Taylor is the last rock star, Marilyn Manson. I think I would argue that that's not necessarily true. I don't think Dave Grohl is retiring anytime soon. I don't think, who else would be like last rock star? I think John 5 is a rock star. I think John 5 is a rock star to me. I think he's super cool. I think the kids from Greta Van Fleet have got all the potential in the world to be rock stars. It's also the industry shifted so hard now. It's like it doesn't work like it did when Aerosmith was coming up. So I don't know. It's different, right? This is a different thing. Yeah, I love John 5. Isn't he cool? He's so good. What do you guys think about Buckethead? Buckethead's great. I mean, just a wicked amount of chops. Crazy. Wicked amount of chops. Okay, so we kind of went over today by about 15 minutes, but that's okay. We enjoyed the amps and the tones. And, I think this is a great opportunity for us publicly to say thank you to Randall Smith. Randall, if there's any small chance that you see this or this comes up on an article or a Facebook forum or something like that, just thank you. Thank you for a beautiful lifetime of amplifiers. Thank you for a beautiful lifetime of inspiration and providing tools to some of the greatest musicians that's ever lived. I think that goes without saying. I mean, you got the Steve Lukather era. You got John Petrucci, you got Andy Timmons, you got Carlos Santana, you got Mark Tremonti. It's just like, God, the list rolls and it rolls and it rolls. So, all of that comes from Randy. So Randall Smith, regardless of how the division went, if it was amicable or if it was less than desirable, it does not change the legacy you left this industry at all. So if you see this, you're the man. Thank you so much. And also to Doug West, like some magic. That's we're in all the years of humanity, we are very, very lucky to be alive to play those amplifiers, right? And all the millennia that humanity's existed. Here we are, same time that the Boogie Lone Star is available. It's a beautiful thing. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next week. We'll see you Tuesday. Remember to use promo code if you want to come to the Woodshed Guitar Experience and spend 4 days with us. 4 days with us in lovely Middle Tennessee. Man, come on out. That's going to be code SWEET200. Chuck has put the link right down there. Thank you for all the love on the new record. Thank you for the love on Rooster. I think it's 100,000 views or right at it. Beautiful stuff, guys. I'm honored that you love the new record. And we got hats, merch, vinyls. All these things will be arriving very soon to andywoodmusic.com. We're trying to hustle and get that live as soon as possible. Backing tracks and tablatures and all the goodies. So all of those things will be coming at you as soon as we can get to it. We're just kind of overwhelmed right now with all the things we got to get done. But that's no excuse. We got to grind. We got to get it. That said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys next week.